Say it with me, for we walk by faith, not by sight.
In today's video, we're going to be cleaning this up a little bit. Not that much. This is actually where I got it to after making the video. But I got a story to tell you guys. Had some frustrations with Maximum Motorsports. It's not bad. They just, I think, need some help in their customer service and tech stuff for a certain segment of car guys. My personal opinion. Others can disagree. That's fine. Anyway, let's get into this. And yeah, we'll clean up the exhaust a little bit and talk about suspension stuff. One instantly wonders what ceramic coating would cost. You know, I might look into that. So I got a story to tell you. The story is about my kind of troubles this week and last week and the week before with Maximum Motorsports. But I don't want it to come across as bad against the company. I like that company. I've wanted to do this build that I'm trying to do here for 20 years. I finally have the money to do it. And it's not a Cobra. I mean, it's not a Cobra, like, and I'm not going road course racing, but that pales in comparison to like buying a new, you know, C6 or not C6, C8 Z06 or something like that. So, you know, I kind of find it funny. One issue I've had looking around the Facebook forums, Facebook pages and stuff, and with Maximum Motorsports is I feel like what I'm doing to my car isn't serious enough to be taken seriously, is a way to put it. I mean, I'm serious about it, because I want it to do a certain thing and I want it to do that thing extremely well. That thing is a step towards making, the thing is cornering well while still being a usable car, right? And when I say usable car, I mean, I like to go out when it's 40 something. I like to go out when it's raining. I drive that thing in the rain, heck yeah. If I go with really sticky, grippy tires with no tread cut into them and no siping, well, I'm gonna slide in the rain and that's not gonna be any fun. Don't wanna do that now. So I got to do something different. And that something different is what I feel is a gap in the market for information. There's parts out there for the gap. There's parts out there for this thing that I'm trying to do. And Maximum Motorsports sells those parts. You know, a lot of other companies sell street stuff, or when I say street stuff, like lowered, right? Lowered stuff, or race stuff. Maximum Motorsports sells that stuff in the middle. But I've had a heck of a time getting part recommendations from them. And it's been kind of frustrating, and I'll tell the story, but I'm not telling it from a place of malice. I just want to spend a few grand and make this car handle really well. Now, what the heck is really well, right? Well, I don't want it to handle like anything that came from the factory with Pilot Sport Cup 2Rs, because that's ridiculous. And those things don't do crap in the rain. I'm surprised OE cars come with those. They're just, it's not going to be good. You know, you're at that point with those kind of tires, you're relying on traction control if there's less grip than normal. And when I say less grip, I'm talking like a little bit less grip from a light drizzle. And my car has really basic traction control that I typically turn off, so I don't have that luxury. And I'm not building this car because it's all the money that I have to do. Really, like a dream car of mine's a C5 Z06. Now, I don't like a lot of these newer cars, all the electronics. The C6 is like a better C5. I mean, it's really just an evolution of a C5. But I hate those electronic popper door latches. I hate that. The C6 looks amazing, right? Especially, you know, if I was after one of those, it'd probably be a Grand Sport. You get the best of both worlds. The wide body and the wider wheels and tires. It does have a steel chassis instead of the aluminum and magnesium stuff like the Z06 has. But then you can still have the roof that comes off. So that's a cool looking car, right? And The C7s, I don't know, I'm not really a huge fan of the looks of those. And the windows start getting smaller because they start going for more rollover safety for government regulation crap. And then the C8, that's out of my price range. So, I mean, I could probably find used ones that are in my price. I don't want to do that though. I don't want to spend all my money on that because I like this car here. I like it. It's a Blue Bullet. I wanted one since they came out, and I'm going to make it exactly what I want it to be. And I'm as serious about that, making it exactly what I want it to be, as someone is who's trying to win a championship in a racing series with their car. I am just as serious about it. And what I found, I might tell a story standing here. What I have found is there's a lot of guys that want lowered. There's the stock guys, there's the drag racing guys, there's the guys that want lowered, and then over here, there's the track guys. I don't want to put it in a line. Let's make it a circle all around. Because nothing is better than another thing. Yes, you are better in drag racing if your car's set up for drag racing and you can turn a quicker lap time than a car that's not. Yes, you're better at that, but that is not something that I want to be better at. So that's not what I'm focused on. I don't want my car stock, and I don't want just lowered for looks. I kind of went that route, H&R Super Sport, staggered wheels. I know a square setup is best for these, but you know what? That looks good. I probably will change the wheels and tires to a different ones. How do you pronounce it? Inky, I think is how you pronounce it. I honestly don't know if I've ever heard anyone pronounce that word. But they're RFP1 wheels that are really lightweight. A lot of Miata guys run them. You can get them in 17 by 9s for this. When, you know, it'd be better to run a wider package, but I'm also a pricing analyst. And I look at that and I go, okay, I can run that tire or that wheel, really lightweight wheel, with a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. I'm only into that setup for a couple grand. I could go tell about the back and forth emails and stuff, but basically I emailed, had an idea in mind for my YouTube channel, best bang for the buck, solid axle. Got a recommendation pretty quick, fairly happy with it. I didn't understand the front spring recommendation at first. It seemed like it was softer than a spring being told to other people, a little bit, about 50 pounds softer than what other people with a similar setup were told by Maximum Motorsports. So I started digging into that, found the wheel rate, rule of thumb calculations, motion ratio stuff, started doing all of that type of thing, figuring out, made charts, all the stuff. And I understand that, hey, 275 probably works good with the H&R SS rear. I do see some people being told 325 in the front with the H&R SS rear spring in the back, but those guys were also Cobras, or not Cobras, I take that back. Those guys were also Mach 1 owners. Mach 1 has a little bit higher center of gravity in the front, a little bit heavier overall, kind of high, and you can feel the body roll in those cars more. So that's part of the reason I like the Bullet for going out corner carving, because it just feels good. Feels good already. In terms of, I mean, it doesn't feel good in terms of body roll. Like, I'm trying to get rid of body roll, but it's better than the Mach 1. Alrighty, moving on. So I asked some more questions, and I'm asking about, you know, maybe I want to go a little bit more serious with the car. Maybe hit up an autocross here and there. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know if I want to do that or not. Because you just start setting up your car for autocross, and you take it out on the weekend and you drive it for like 10 minutes total, 15 minutes or something. Or you set your car up for a road course and you go to an HPDE event and you drive for like an hour and a half. And there's none of that stuff local to me. So if I set my car up to be really good at that type of thing, I'm trailering my car to drive it 15 minutes to an hour and then trailering it home. Whereas if I make a really nice street car, it won't handle as well. It won't have the ultimate cornering G-forces as some of these other cars, but I get to drive it a heck of a lot more. And that's what I want to do. I want to drive my car. I bought it to drive. I bought it to have fun with, not to drive every day like a daily. But you know what? If it's a decent day out and I want to go do it, I'm gonna go for a drive. If it's a crappy day out and it's 40 degrees and raining and I want to go for a drive, I'm gonna go for a drive. And that necessitates a different tire. So with that, I can't get a 180, 200 tread wear tire with no channels for rain to go out of it, no siping, no tread blocks cut into the rubber. That doesn't work for me. So I can see how a race car guy says, oh, well, you're not really trying to make your car handle well because you're not going as far as you could. That is a viewpoint if you're a race car guy. If you're me, or a like-minded person like me, I'm saying you guys made your cars too dang much to drive them and have fun with. Now it's a competitive thing that you can only drive them a little bit of time. I just drove all of Arkansas 123 the other day. The part that's considered the Arkansas Dragon, which is too tight and narrow for cars, and the other part of it, which was fast and flowy and really fun. And I kind of like got in the zone and just triple digits in the 40 a few times. I don't typically do that, but I got kind of locked in, and that road was fun. Not as good as the Appalachian Mountain roads, not as good as the canyons out in California. I get that, but got some pretty decent roads around here. And let me reiterate, I need my car to be capable of driving in inclement-ish weather, okay? And I want it to run with a Corvette that is pushing 60, 70, maybe even as high as 80% out there on the back road. Because you're never going to push all the way on roads because there's trees right off the edge of the road and the cost of a mess up is too great. So I catch up to a Corvette and he looks up and sees in his mirror, there's a dadgum Mustang behind me. These next little section of tight corners here, I'm going to really show him what for. And at the end of that next little section of tight corners, that stupid Mustang's right on his bumper. That's what I want on street tires, on 300 something street tires, treadwear, right? 300 something treadwear street tires. Because most guys out there doing that are not on anything stickier than that. You get some, but it's not common. You come out here, I'm gonna take the trash can. You wanna take the trash can for me, huh? Yeah, you do that. What? Is it supper time? Is it supper time for the pupper time? I'll feed you. Head in. Yeah. Give me just a minute, Cal. I'll feed your face. Back to the Maximum Motorsports thing. I go back and say, I'm asking all this stuff. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Maybe go a little bit more serious. And the guy says, hey, this is good stuff. I'm going to actually forward this over to one of our head tech guys. He can help you out more if you're going down this route. Okay, cool. I guess that guy's out of office and he's emailing me, on Sunday or in the middle of the night sometimes here and there. And it's taken days to get a reply, but I respect that he's working while out of the office. I worked 80 to 100 hours a week for years. I respect that. No, nothing upsets me about that at all. The guy's out of the office and he's working. Probably shouldn't even. Like if you're on vacation or whatever, just be on vacation. But he's asking some questions and I was a little frustrated because the questions really kind of were answered in my previous email. And I answered them. I wrote out a big long thing of all the stuff, my driving experience, my sim racing experience, kind of lack of real world because I didn't ever previously have the money to just kind of throw a big chunk of a few $1,000s at the car at once. Because I've been doing other stuff. Just been focused on other parts of my life. Now I can kind of do this. And in that email that I sent, I explained why I have the tires I have, kind of like I've explained to you. I didn't go as wordy as I said here in the video, but I explained, hey, I'm running a 320 treadwear tire because that's about as sticky as I can go before I run out of tires that do well in the rain. Well enough for me. I've hydroplaned into a fence, right? And off the interstate and right through a big old fence. Tore up my Trans Am I had. Really frustrating. Don't want that to happen again. So I'm going to run tires that do well in the rain. Okay? That is what it is. So after explaining what tires I wanted in my email, I get a reply at like 3 something in the morning the next day. Hey, do you want a recommendation for what the tires you have now or for more grippy tires? And in my reply back, I was trying to be nice because I felt like if I'm telling them kind of where I think I am, I wasn't getting much of anything back on those emails. They don't know me, and their assumption is probably that I'm an idiot and I don't know anything, which is frustrating because, goodness, I don't know near as much about specifics on these cars in terms of proper setup as they do. I definitely don't, but I know a little bit. I'm not starting at zero, okay? Like Kung Fu Panda, there is no level 0, and then he does have a level 0. I'm not starting at 0. I'm starting at 20 out of 100,000. No, but I'm starting with some knowledge, okay? Now, you can't convey that in email. I get that, but I explained why I have the tires I have, and I get back like, and I did ask like, this was dumb. I asked, I'd love to know the setup recommendation difference if I was going to run stiffer tire or grippier tires versus these tires. And I did that just to kind of play into that, hey, this guy doesn't know anything a little bit, which I hate that. That's really dumb. But I get back, well, if you're going to run grippier tires, and we recommend a stiffer spring because there's going to be more grip and more lean, and you're going to have to counteract that more. And, oh, obviously. And he did reply later and, said, probably stick with the 275 front recommendation, which again, I can see the wheel rate for the 275 as compared to my H&R Super Sport, the H&R Race, the H&R Super Race, and it's between the H&R Race and H&R Super Race in terms of the wheel rate. So I don't know if that's where I want to be, because if you free up a lot of friction in the front end by going to the coilovers, and the harshness of the little bumps is drastically removed, not all the way, but drastically removed, I want to cut down on the body roll. And I understand that my tires are going to be a limiting factor to overall performance. However, I'm not in California on those roads that stay dry and are hot all the time. I'm not there. I'm not running it on a racetrack, and I'm not running it on autocross. I'm going out into the back mountain roads, and a lot of my driving I do is honestly when it's too cold for motorcycles to be out there. I need a harder tire. I just do. Hey, Storm, here's a good dog. And he said, well, you probably stick with the 275s, and then I'll send you back to the first guy that I was talking to. He copied him in, and he's like, I'm out of office, and I don't have the chart to recommend the rear spring. I'm like, okay, so basically what I got out of that, maybe I shouldn't get this out of that, but what I got out of that is my car's not serious enough to be taken seriously, like I said earlier at the start of this thing. I get that certain spring rates will work well with certain things, but I can tell you right now, I've got too much body roll with my H&R Super Sports, and I've watched cars go around courses with H&R Race, and they still have too much body roll for what I want. I want it to be pretty stinking flat, and I want to do it with the springs more than anything. Sway bars are a last step tuning thing. I like getting to that last, and also I'm not really pushing hard enough on the streets to get that far with it. So I want to do it mostly with the springs. Hey, Storm. So yeah, get sent back over. He has the chart. He'll tell you what to do. And it's like, okay, if you're running off the chart, then I didn't need to be sent to this guy that wasn't in the office anyway, because the first guy was thinking that I needed something pretty custom by what I said. And then the second guy's thinking I just need the basic standard, whatever they send out. I'm just like, come on, man. So now that was like 2 days ago. This whole thing has taken 3 weeks. And not all of it's on them. Some of it's on me because I changed my thing twice. I sent out an email, then a couple of days later, I sent out another one. Was like, hey, I think I do want to go a little bit more serious, spend a little bit more money, not just bang for the buck. And then about a week later, I sent another email. Hey, I found an IRS. Hadn't planned on that. I was like, sorry to have to change my thing. I'm apologizing. I understand that. But since then, we're at 2 weeks or week and 3/4, something like that. And I still don't have a spring recommendation. I know Maximum Motorsports is a smaller-ish company. I don't know. I mean, they're a decent-sized company. I don't know how many people they have, but if you guys need somebody that can help people set up fun street cars, freaking hire me. I will do it. I have this car that's getting an IRS. I've got an automatic Mach 1. I've got another manual Bullet. It's a green Bullet, and I want to do the Panhard bar and different stuff on it. And I've got an Auto V6. I'll set them up all kinds of different ways, and I'll change stuff out constantly and make tons of notes and tons of different types of setups. I'll change springs and run the car and all kinds of stuff. Like the conventional type springs on these cars, I can change in about 2.5 hours here in my garage with hand tools. I will run all kinds of stuff and make recommendations to people and make notes and say, hey, with this setup, this is kind of what I experienced on the street. And with this setup, this is what I experienced on the street. And if you compare it to these springs here, that's the thing you can do. You can go out and I can make videos of stuff and have my thoughts while I'm driving. And then I can get back home and say, okay, here were my thoughts about this one. And here's my thoughts about this one and this one and this one. Well, then you got 4 or 5 comparisons right there. The stuff for the street doesn't need as detailed of a setup. Understood. Yeah, I get it. Okay. It really doesn't need it. But you want people to feel like they're getting the most for their money. And you want people to feel like they are appreciated and wanted. I want people to buy parts from my company. That's what you do. Now, I'm not just talking out of my butt here either. And I don't think Maximum Motorsports is going to see this or hire me or anything like that. And even if they did, it probably wouldn't pay enough to do tech type stuff as to what I was making at it probably wouldn't pay as much as my last job, right? Because I'm an analyst. I have an MBA, pricing and costing analytics, process improvement, all kinds of stuff. I make charts and I improve processes. It's what I do. pretty good at it too. I've got lots of thoughts, lots of ways that I could stop this issue that I'm having from happening with others. Now, I fully understand that if I would have just called them, I probably wouldn't have had this issue. However, I'm trying to be respectful of their request on their website, and their request is email us, don't call us. Email us, and that gives us time to look things up, figure things out, and see what we want to recommend. And that's part of the reason that I've given them so much time. But it gets to a point where I'm at multiple weeks out, I've got money burning a hole in my pocket, and I want to spend it on my stinking car. Let me spend my money, guys. Give me a shock or a damper and spring recommendation, and I will buy a full coilover kit, front and rear, subframe connectors, front lower control arms, some bushings for this thing because it needs a few. I need to understand it first and feel it before I'm willing to pull the stupid thing back out. That's fine. Like, it's not like this thing where like, oh no, I got to pull it back out. Whatever. I don't care. I'll do it. I will change springs. I will change sway bars. I will change bushings. Whatever I got to do, I'll do it now, later, whenever. But this thing is going to handle well. This car is going to surprise people because most people haven't ridden in the crazy fast stuff that race car guys have. It's going to be awesome. I just need that stinking spring recommendation. Now, I know what I can do because I found plenty of other people online. A guy with a GT, which has the same weight and weight balance as that this car has, did an IRS, and Josh over at Maximum Motorsports recommended 300 front, 475 rear. A lot of guys I see have 200 stiffer in the rear on the coilover springs. And then I've seen some cars like Matt Farah's Fox Body, which was 350, 650. Obviously, I'm not going to go that much. That car was too much for the street, in my opinion. That was a California Canyon car. That wasn't a street car. And the California Canyon, seeing as how it never rains and is always warm, that's a different thing. That's not what I'm after. So yeah, like I said, Maximum Motorsports, y'all need somebody to help be like your street sales and tech guy and help push this stuff. I'll be all over it. I mean, geez, when I was 5 through like 20, I wanted to be a mechanical engineer and design suspensions, and I went to school for mechanical engineering, right? And I got a third of the way through the program, and I was a lazy piece of crap that didn't have any study skills, and I flunked out of college. Got married, said, hey, I need to get my life in gear, went back to college. I did a bachelor's in science for business admin, then did an MBA, right? I was the only one in my class in my MBA to make it through without failing a class and having to retake one. I was pretty proud of that. I get things done. I do. So, this type of stuff right here, making YouTube videos, making charts on the suspensions, throwing different springs in, this is my passion. This is what I've always wanted to do with my life. I'm trying to make that my life. The YouTube thing ain't really picking up. I got 560 something. I'm gonna have to get 10, 20, 30,000 before I'd even make enough money to pay the bills with the revenue ad stuff. And then you get some merch sales and different things that you got to get going in there. It's a business. I view everything as a business. Just how it has to be. But this is my passion. This is what I've always wanted to do. And again, I'm not asking Maximum Motorsports for a job. But if they're looking for somebody to fill in this gap of people that want a very fun and capable street car that's still a car and not just a hot weather weekend toy, I can be your guy. And I will happily help out any other people. I love helping people. That's part of the point of this YouTube channel, is to teach and help people. Love doing it. I'm going to work on these things mostly off camera. I might record some of it, and because this is going to be a lot of, I'm going to take some power tools to them, clean them up. It's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of time because I want to go soft as to not scratch them a bunch. So it's just going to take a while to get them nice and shiny. I might record some of that and put it in a different video in like time lapse. That's some story. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I got to clean up this. First thing I'm going to do is clean up all this mess. That's crazy. And then, yeah, I'm going to start working on these over the weekend. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Check out the merch store, link in bio and in the video description. My wife and I make all the shirts. She got a shirt business, and that's what she does. And yeah, it's fun stuff, and we enjoy doing it. And I enjoy doing this. So come back and watch more videos. Thank you for watching this one. See you guys in the next one.